Hey man, hey guys, how's it going, man? Welcome to a new series I just created. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna call this series yet. For now, we just call it the keep it simple. We just call it the prediction series. So here's what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be throwing in my picks for match days from all the top five leagues. You know what I'm saying? England, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Um, Other leagues such as Eredivisie and Superliga, the Portuguese league. Um, if I find pretty good picks, I'll throw them into. But yeah, for now, this is how it's gonna go. Each episode will be dedicated to each league, Premier League, La Liga, that sort of thing. Of course, certain leagues, like League One, for the start of this series, it's gonna get combined with I think Serie A. I only got like two games in League One that I decided to look into. So yeah, a couple rules first. Number one is we're gonna be doing GTA gameplays while you know what I'm saying while you listen to the bets that I throw in. Just sort of like keep you guys, you know what I'm saying. You have something to actually watch. Since I'm not gonna be showing my face in the vids. And number two, I am not liable for any losses that you make. Do not throw in money that you can afford to lose, that sort of thing. After all, we're here to make money. But at the same time, have fun. I know you. I know I don't wanna. If I were you, I wouldn't wanna hear someone say have fun. But kind of look at it like that. Have fun and just have fun with the money. If you win, that's good. If you lose, take it, charge it to the game. And take it on the chin. You know what I'm saying? We move on. And for example, and if you are questioning why should I listen to your bets, what's your track record, that sort of thing. My advice is don't listen to me now. Like if you're not comfortable with the bets I'm gonna give you just in a second right now, that's cool. Just let me relax. Let this match day go by. Look again how my predictions were. Do your percentage, do the stats, and see whether or not you know I'm that guy. I believe I'm that guy. I've done this for a couple months. I've been doing predictions. Well, my strategies seem to work a good 35%, 70, 80% of the time. So I mean, your money is in good hands. But enough of me yapping. Let's get into it. You feel me? So what I'll be doing first is the English leagues, Premier League, right? So first game is gonna be against Man City versus Southampton. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna first divide we want to divide the betting predictions into two you know what I'm saying settings. First off is the parlays, and then the individual bets. So the parlays I've learned in my thing is that we're gonna make sure we throw in all the obvious bets in the parlays. That way you make more money throwing in sure safe bets. And then you know what I'm saying. If you're feeling a little bit more risky, you throw in some of the more not so obvious bets. So that's how we're gonna be doing it. I'm gonna throw in my predictions just right now. All right, guys. Here we go. Like I said, Man City versus Southampton. The parlay bets is gonna be over 2.5 and over 2.5 goals and home side to win. Now I'm gonna be using Betway for all my odds to tell you about the odds. Now you may be asking yourself like, bro, the parlay is not even that long. Should Well, I'm a firm believer of the longer you make your parlays, the more of a chance that you're gonna mess up. So you want to keep your stuff as short, not as short, but like you know what I mean, a short bet. As a my rule of thumb is a 95% chance of all this happening. If you're 95% sure that this is gonna happen during the parlay. Now, of course, my word is not bond. You don't have to follow my bets, 100%. If you feel like, for example, Man City is scoring 3 goals, the team is this game's not gonna be having 3 goals or more. You can do over 1.5 or under 2.5, whatever. Right? This is just my advice, right? And home side to win with 1.5 handicap, so to win with 2 goals or more. Uh, So that's a bit for the parlay. If you but that way you're required to throw in $2 with the apps. With the app, you need minimum amount for the parlay is $2. You get $2.95. It's not that bad. It's not like I said, like changing money, but consistent winnings over time is better than your unpredictable large winnings. That's my motto. I'm and I can attest to that with my personal bets. So yeah, and then just to do a little bit of stats to say why I'm saying. Just give me 1 second, real quick. So with Southampton over the last 10 games, they've lost no games. They've won no games, lost 8, and drawn twice. And with Man City, the last 10 games, they've won 7 times, lost 1, and drew 2 times. Right. So that's why it's obvious, right? But then why I'm saying over 2.5 and why am I saying the handicap bet is because for Man City games, in the last 10 games, Man City have had over 2.5 games, 4 games, and the rest 6, right? But of course, those other games where with decent opponents like I believe Aston Villa, Newcastle, Aston Villa, that sort of thing, and they haven't had like a somewhat easy team, so to speak. But with Southampton, over 2.5 games, they've hit it 7 times and lost, and it hasn't hit 3 times. So that's pretty good. And then lastly, for the stats, just to say, the last 10 games, Man City scored 18 and conceded, they've conceded 7. So that's an average of 1.8 goals per match, and 0.7 goals conceded for Man City. So, and then for Southampton, they scored 6 in those same 10 games and conceded 25. So you can now see what I'm saying. Why I'm saying 2.5 goals over 2.5 goals. The stats don't lie, right? And yeah, on to the next one. Like I said, my word is not bond. Do what you want with your money, but you know what I'm saying. But next on the list is coming up soon. So now we got Ipswich against Brentford. So now that we're taking a little direction away from like the big 6 matches, because those ones barely pay out. So our parlay, as you can see, is Brentford's winning over 2.5 goals, and then the other bet is both teams to score. Right now on Betway, at my current time, which is the day before the match day, if you put $2 in and throw in this parlay, you get $4.10. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of winnings that are there for the taking. These are consistent. This is the type of consistent winnings I'm talking about. So now, to kind of back up why I'm saying, what I'm saying, right? We should now check up the team's goal scoring record and conceding record based on those last 10 games, right? Ipswich scored 10. They scored 12 in the last 10 and conceded 23 in the last 10. So that's some crazy stats right there. So that's basically an average of 2.3 goals conceded and 1.2 goals scored per match. Brentford, on the other hand, 19 goals in 10 scored and conceded 11 goals in the same time period. So conceded 1.1 on average and also scored 1.9. So give or take, right? Give or take, this should be a high scoring match. And if we were to say over the 2.5 goals games, Brentford has, on the last 10, Brentford has met this criteria 5 times and failed the other 5. And then for Ipswich, has met this criteria 8 times and lost 2 times. So these are the type of math. The math here says, you know what I'm saying? You gotta lock this in, right? Yeah, and then if I don't think I need to go through the form, but we just go through it just for consistency. In the last 10, Brentford has won 5 times, lost 2 times, and drawn 3 times, and they tend to score quite a few against the weaker sides because this Brentford is an underrated team, And then with Ipswich, they've lost 6 times and won 1 time and drawn 3 times. So give or take, pick your poison, right? And then off to the next bet. Next off, we got Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Here the bets up, and here the other bets. So, if you cook up this parlay on Betway, if you put $2 in, you get $2.95. Again, not a huge payout, but with consistency is better than and the large winnings, for in my opinion. So then let's go. Let's look at why we're saying these things. And before I go in there, more times than not, when you see me say both teams to score, I'm always gonna say over 1.5 minimum. Like that's just how it is. Like that's like saying so those bets that automatically you throw in because since you're saying this, that means this is what's gonna happen, right? But yeah, let's look at the these other the results. But before that, again, I know you're gonna start seeing like the same bets over and over again. Like I'm not gonna throw in corners or yellow cards, that type of thing, unless it's like Europa League, Champions League, where things are there to be played for. And of course, like even in the league, there are things to be played for, but it's much more unpredictable. Like for example, the game against Liverpool and Arsenal. It's not gonna be on this video, but you could easily argue over 3.5 yellow cards there, and like over 7 corners there too. So that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, why are we saying these things, right? Back to where we are. Bournemouth have conceded. They've scored 12 goals in 10 and conceded 13 goals. So 1.2 goals on average scored and 1.3 goals conceded. Aston Villa scored 21 goals in 10 and conceded 12 goals. So 2.1 goals scored and 1.2 goals conceded. So that's a pretty good record, right? In terms of the goals. Now let's look at the 2.5 over the 2.5 goals. I know we're saying over 1.5, but this is still a very good accurate a good parameter to use to measure, right? Over 10 games, Bournemouth have went over 2.5 goals. That match went over 2.5 goals 6 times. Aston Villa has done that 9 times. So it's going to be a high scoring. They are both high scoring teams, and that's why. Excuse me. That's why I said 1.5. Now you can add over 2.5 like the other bets. You know what I'm saying? If you're feeling more risque, I'm personally gonna do that. I'm gonna add it as a separate bet, not as a parlay. But you know what I'm saying? Again, do what you want, type of thing. Aston Villa have won 7 times in the last 10, and Bournemouth have won 2 times in the last 10, lost 3, and drew 5. While Aston Villa have won, like I said, 7, lost 3, and drawn 9. So this is going to be one of those ones, right? One of those good games, very good games to watch, of course. But on to the next bet too. All right, guys, this is the last bet. Wolves against Brighton, very middle table clash. So first off, if you put $2 again in the Betway game in the Betway app, you'll get $3.75. So pretty good return on your investment. And with let's look at why we are saying this. And before we go, then again, sorry, this is gonna be a lot. I'm only gonna be doing this series by days instead of by leagues. So like for example, these are all the Saturday games, and then the Sunday games we do the next day. Try to release them as close to the match day as possible. That way, any details that get released, well, we already accounted for them already. But yeah, let's look at why we are saying what we're saying, right? We gotta look at the goal scoring form. So Wolves have scored 16 and conceded 9 in 10 games. So that's pretty good. 1.6 goals on average scored and 1.9 goals conceded in those last 10 games. And Brighton have scored 15 and conceded 18 in that same time period. So that means Brighton they're both high scoring teams, no doubt. And Brighton has a defensive issue. So we gonna take advantage of that and try to throw that into the parlay somehow, right? And that's pretty good, right? And then we gotta look at the over 2.5 goal market. So Wolves in the last 10 have gone over 2.5 goals 5 times, and not a lot of 5 times. Brighton have done over 2.5 8 times. So again, the stats to say, hey, Brighton games they go crazy, right? And let's lastly but not least, let's look at the form, right? So Wolves have won 6, drawn 2, and lost 2, right? Not bad. In the last 10, 60%, not too bad. And Brighton have won 3, drawn 4, and lost 3. So a little bit of inconsistency there. That's why we don't throw in who's gonna win, who's gonna lose in the parlays. But again, you know what I'm saying. I know I didn't write it down. I didn't write down the score here, but I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. That was my prediction. I don't normally bet exact scores because that's like Russian roulette. That's just like playing with like legit eyes, blindfolded and all that. But yeah, thank you guys for if you made it this far. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I really hope subscribe, comment down below what you guys want me to see next. This is gonna be I think this series is gonna be a really good one, especially for me. I feel like I'm gonna be directly helping you guys and stuff, less of the entertainment, like the FIFA gameplays. They're cool too, but I think this is what I've been working on. And thank you guys for if you made it here, like, comment, subscribe. I know I said that already. And yeah, I'm gonna holler back at y'all boys for real. Peace.